So, what do we got?
I don't know. I'm not going to talk about irritants anymore. What we can say, though, because we talked about Tuvalu last time. So, Tuvalu is this country in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of the ocean, that heavily depends on people using the .tv domain name, or top level domain suffix, however you want to call it. .fm has the same thing going for it.
Oh, okay. What are they?
The Federated States of Micronesia is who gives us the .fm top level domain. And it's funny because they're actually just a stone's throw northwest of Tuvalu.
Oh, okay.
They're neighbors, basically. It seems like a lot of these smaller countries, these island countries, at least a few of them have the same thing, where it's like, oh, okay, a lot of people depend, or they do depend on people using their domain name.
I wonder what you'd get if these countries didn't exist, or if the domain names weren't the same. Like, how would we end up with? Like, why is it dependent on these countries? Like, if Tuvalu didn't exist, would we still be able to get the .tv?
Oh, yeah. I think what happened was them being associated to a country came before the vanity domain names. So, we have things like they have like .gay, they have .xxx, those don't correspond to countries. Those are just vanity. .fitness. Yeah, fitness is a big one. That one came about pretty recently. I think what would happen is if the countries didn't exist, or if there was a suffix that somebody wanted, and let's say Tuvalu didn't exist, and people wanted .tv, then they would just make it. There's nothing stopping it from a technical perspective. I think it's just that the countries came first, so they have dibs on how people use them.
All right.
I wonder if it's even possible. Oh yeah, so look, FM was introduced in 1995. I'm assuming TV was probably 1996 for TV. Whereas something like, I don't know, here, .gay, let's see. Yeah, .gay was 2020, very recent, relatively speaking.
Well, there you go. So these countries making bank, getting in early.
Yeah, so ideally what should happen is you got to start your own country and get something that people are interested in. So, AI is gone, it's over, somebody else got it. But what's another thing? What do you think is the wave of the future that you can put into an acronym?
I don't know.
VR would be one, right? Maybe VR, virtual reality.
There's about a 95% chance if you're thinking about it right now, it's already taken.
No, but does it exist? I mean, is there a country which has a .VR or a vanity? Because if not, what would the country be that has VR as its abbreviation or acronym?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not good at making up names.
Well, let's think. We have time. This is what the listeners have paid for. Paid $0 to listen to us think. Listen to us think. Listen to silence. I mean, I'll remove the silence. It'll be like magic, like a snap of the fingers, and we got the name. So let's think. Let's really ponder this. What would it be?
All right.
Something starts with V. What's vent? Something vent. Ventrilo.
Why vent?
Ventrilo.
Oh, yeah, let's just take Ventrilo. That's not a thing already.
I don't know what else starts with. Oh, ventriloquist. There we go, ventriloquist. The country of ventriloquist.
It doesn't have to be a real word if you're making a country out of it.
All right, ventrilistan. Stan is like the suffix for country in some language. That's why it works. So we'll just do ventrilistan. Or man, I can't think of anything that starts with a V. Victory Stan. That's good. It's very patriotic.
There you go. We solved it. We'll make a country called Victory Stand.
Victory Stand will be a country that'll have difficult relations with many other countries, including the United States. I think that's the best biography we can give it. That's its origin story.
There you go. We cracked the case, and then we'll make millions of dollars.
.VR, yeah, on exports.
Now, could a country take it? I'm thinking a country could not take it if it's already out there.
So you mean like if there's a country that starts with or has gay in it, they couldn't take the .gay suffix?
Yeah, I'd be very surprised if you can do that.
It's true. It's true. I think it would be very difficult because
you can't it's essentially copyright or trademarking something, and you can't really do that once it's already popular. I mean, you can try.
Yeah, like let's look at .gay. Who owns it? So the registry website is ohhey.gay. Find your gay domain. Gay because .com is not gay enough. That's their slogan. I'm not making this up. .gay because .com is not gay enough. That's wonderful. It is some sort of society, and they donate 20% of the profits to advocacy groups. So I guess, they're not just in it for the money. Not entirely, anyway. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know how it would work.
Yeah, I don't know either. I don't think you're making any money by making a dot whatever anymore.
Again, it depends on how popular. Like, obviously, if nobody got to .ai first, I don't know, that'd be a pretty big deal.
Yeah, some of them I sure are, would have been a big deal, but nope, not nowadays. Got to make up your own trend.
Mm-hmm.
Got to make up something new. You can't tailgate on somebody else on something else. Well, the more you know. There you go. We now know TV, AI, FM.
And I also checked. Nobody, because I was really curious. Unfortunately, we have had no downloads from Tuvalu, nor Micronesia. I didn't see any Micronesia on there either. But yeah, it's a bit sad. There's been some smaller island nations there as well. I think this one only caught my eye because it wasn't rendering properly in Libsyn, the service that we upload to. Oh yeah, so Curaçao. Curaçao has the cedilla, under the C to make it a C sound instead of a K, and that doesn't render properly in Libsyn, but we've had a few downloads from Curaçao. I thought about that. Like, I was looking at the geography of our listener base, and I was just thinking, like, man, how does it even happen? How does somebody just stumble upon it? I know most of the time it's probably by accident, but like, what were they looking for? And did they stay for at least a few minutes?
Some websites let you know what search brought them there.
No, I don't think that one doesn't show where they came from. You're right, though. Like YouTube and all that, they do tell you which part of YouTube brought the person to that video.
They should write to us.
Yeah, exactly. It's funny because no one's written to us. It's like, we have millions of listeners and not a single one has written to us.
Oh, well, their loss.
The lines are open. That's what they used to say for the call-in shows. The lines are open.
You should do live call-ins.
There's people who do that on YouTube. There's a guy who dresses up in a lizard costume.
Oh, yeah?
And people call in, and he's like a psychiatrist or a counselor or something, and he like helps them deal with their problems and just listens.
I guess some people get soothed by talking to a giant lizard.
Well, yeah, he seems like a soothing kind of guy. He doesn't, he's not like exaggerated in any way. He just dresses up like the lizard. That's it. Or is it a gecko? Anyway, something green and scaly.
There you go. This is how you can make it. You can make an AI bot that does that.
An AI bot that dresses up as a lizard and takes people's calls?
That gives
advice?
Therapy advice online.
I played a game recently that had that as the premise, basically.
An AI?
Well, so what happens is, and I still think it's a really interesting premise, but they still hire people, humans, to basically use this AI, that's in front of them or whatever, and it tells them what to say. But they have the human element when they're interacting with the person. So they don't have to do anything themselves. In fact, they're told not to. You should stick to the script. That's what they're telling people who work at this fictitious company. And the AI is the therapist that knows, what best to say, I guess, to resolve the situation with the person in front of them. But yeah, I mean, that could be the future.
What game is this, and how does it actually? What do you actually do?
Well, you're one of these people who has this AI in front of you, and you're working at this company, and you're interacting with people who need therapy. The game itself, I guess, this was the Humble Choice Tuesday 1 hour playthrough.
Oh, okay.
You shouldn't go off the script, but you're allowed to. And I guess what happens is they monitor you. So if you go off the script too much, it's not good. Maybe some repercussions happen. The game has some story to it. I just never really got far enough to know what it is. But the premise is that, yes, you are this worker. You're told what to say based on a script provided to you by an AI that's specializing in therapy for people. And the game is called Eliza.
Eliza.
I think it's made by the same people who made the game where you synthesize drugs.
Right, that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's like a text adventure.
It's a visual novel. Yeah, I would say it is 90% visual novel with whatever. Oh, interesting. So Eliza was actually a therapist bot. The game is called Eliza, but the Eliza itself came about back in the 60s. Yeah, so this is really kind of based on previous work. Yeah, so Eliza was built to speak as a doctor. Well, I imagine like a
It would
therapist
be
type
much better
doctor.
now. It would
Oh
be
yeah,
much better now.
probably, of course.
There you go. You get in on it, you make that, then you get a video game made out about you.
That's the dream, I think, for anybody, right? To be a gamer and to have a game made about you. So you've seen other, let's say YouTube celebrities and so on. They've had games made about them. I remember Man vs. Game had one way back when. What kind of game would you want to be made about you? What genre and all that?
I'm not vain enough to think that any game made about me would be remotely interesting to even.
It doesn't matter.
that
That's not the
idea.
point. This is a conversation topic that we're engaging in. It doesn't matter how vain you are. Just assume that somebody's like a obsessed fan, one that would kill themselves for you, and they're making this game. They're really talented. They know how to make any genre with any level of complexity you want. Witcher 3 level complexity. Go. What kind of game?
Fine, just make an open world RPG about me with me as the main character.
That would be what you would pick? An open world RPG?
Sure.
In this day and age?
Because I just don't know. Like, you wouldn't do like. This isn't something I would ever think about. This isn't even an idea I would ever entertain, because all it would literally be is some fictitious scenario with my skin placed in the game. At which point I just don't care. What would the premise be? It would just be fake fairy tale, because if it's just about my life or something like that,
Yeah,
like there's nothing.
It would be about your
But
life.
my life, it's not a video game. It's I go to work, I come home, I eat, I stream, I go to sleep.
Yeah, but you have those wonderful moments like
There's no video
you
game.
go to the grocery store and you play chicken with a couple of middle-aged ladies.
I mean, if you want to be realistic about it, just make a Sims-like about me, because that's the only genre that would
No,
fit into my life.
I'm gonna tell you. I think that would be a perfect. You know how there's plenty of 2D pixel art games where you have a bunch of mini games strewn about, and one of those would be you going to the grocery store and playing chicken with these two ladies. That would be hilarious. You have to try to get them to swerve before you do.
There you go.
That would be one. And then you had the thing that happened way back when, also at the grocery store. It seems like grocery stores are your thing.
Yeah, because that's pretty much like 98% of my outings.
You go to the grocery store, you pick up the chicken, and you get the chicken juice on your hands.
Yeah.
And I think you could surely make something fun out of that. Come on. Finding some water or something to wash your hands off. Oh man, good times, good times. I guess you're right though. It would be a bit difficult.
Like Man vs. Game, I don't know anything about this video game that you're mentioning about Man vs.
It was
Game.
just one of those top-down side scroller, the kind of games they used to play, like a lot of difficult stuff.
But that's what I'm saying. It would have just been Man vs. Game in some fictitious scenario. I'm sure they didn't base the side scroller on his real life, because
No, probably not.
again, his real life was taking meth and streaming for 28 hours a day.
Oh, did he take meth? I didn't know that.
That's a big, yeah, he crashed out. He was on big uppers, and I think it was meth.
Oh, fair enough. It's a hell of a drug.
And that's how he did all the crazy gaming sessions he did.
Were they crazy? I don't remember him streaming for that.
Yeah.
He had marathons
He did a
and
lot
stuff.
of long streams. Yeah.
Well, what's long?
He did
Like
a lot
12
of
hours?
marathons. Like days worth.
Days worth. Oh, yeah, okay. I don't remember that. I only remember like the 6-hour streams or whatever.
No, he'd do really long streams all the time. But then it started affecting him, and he started losing business relationships, and that's kind of why he's fallen off Twitch, because it's just a bad environment for him. Good for him for, I hope, turning things around. I hope he's in a good place. Yeah, he was troubled for a while there. So I can't imagine what his video game would be. Same with any of these people. Like, I don't know. Like, the only one I could feasibly give you is like, who was that doctor guy? Who was the fake guy? Who was
Dr. Disrespect?
Yeah, Dr. Disrespect. Yeah.
Oh, he had a game as well?
Well, no, I don't know, but he was going to do a TV show based on his fictitious life and all that. Like, he is a fictional streamer, so you could like do that, or a VTuber. You could like realistically do a video game based on somebody fictitious. But anybody else is just a vanity project.
Well, you're so pessimistic.
I guess
about
unless it comes from a viewer or something like that, it doesn't really have anything to do with.
Well, that's what I mean, right? Like, let's suppose somebody just made a fan game of you. That's what I'm talking about. Like, let's say,
it's not a vanity project, but it's still stupid.
wow, come on. Like
I
said,
wouldn't want anybody.
Very pessimistic.
If somebody
of
said
you.
if somebody said I'm making a video game about you, I'd be like, cease and desist. That'd be it. I send them a letter. I'd say cease and desist.
Wow.
Because I genuinely would not want a video game made about me.
Look at Nintendo over here.
I don't want a video game made about me. Like, it's just, it really is that simple.
You're vehemently opposed to flattery, I think.
Yes, I am actually. I really don't like flattery.
Oh, that's a flaw. That's a major flaw. You gotta embrace the flattery. People tell you you look wonderful, like $1 million. You'd be like, thank you. I do.
Yeah, no, I don't like that kind of stuff.
I know a lot of people have struggles accepting compliments, actually.
I do, yes.
I used to have more problems with it, but now I just say thank you and move on because I think it's just more difficult to try to sidestep the issue or anything like that.
Well, I mean, I don't sidestep the issue. I just, I do the same thing. I just say thank you and move on. I just try to get off of it as fast as possible.
You don't lean into it. You'd be like, what else? What else are you going to say about me, huh? Come on. You're going to compliment my eyes, my hair?
Even things like my birthday. Like, I don't care about it. Like, my employer right now, right? So my birthday is back in January.
Uh-huh.
My employer right now, she keeps saying to me, my boss, like, oh, we're going to do something at the office for your birthday. And she's been saying it since Christmas. And it's May now. It's the end of May. And we're finally doing it on Tuesday.
Oh, my God. Congratulations.
I said, you're almost closer to my next birthday than you are to my last birthday at this point.
So it's an early birthday present.
Like, I just keep telling her, like, I don't want it. So they're finally doing something on Tuesday. They're like, oh, we'll make it a big thing. So I was going back and forth with her because she was sending out the announcement or whatever yesterday. And she said, I really want to put in there that, we're partly celebrating your birthday.
Partly.
And I'm like, well, because there were other reasons to have the.
Oh, come on. That's such a cop out. Like, if you're going to celebrate your birthday, you should tell her, you got to do this on my birthday next time.
And I'm like, don't even mention, I don't want it. I don't want people to celebrate. Like, don't celebrate my birthday.
Fair enough.
That's the thing. Like, I don't celebrate my birthday. I don't tell people
what if they
my
feed
birthday.
you cake? What if they get a big cake and they like take a fork with the cake on it and feed it to you? No,
I really don't want.
You prefer when they just hand it to you with their hands, like the married couples do?
Right, absolutely.
All right, fair enough.
But I don't celebrate my birthday. I don't put into my streaming title on my birthday, birthday stream, whatever. Like, I don't do any of that. Not a lot of people know when my birthday even is. So, like, I was going back and forth with her. I'm like, please don't mention my birthday. Like, plus it sounds so weird, like 6 months later, we're celebrating Dustin's birthday. When there's probably there's probably 3 or 4 other people who've had a birthday in that amount of time. And I'm like, don't single me out. Like,
you're
that
special.
Seems so weird.
You're special.
That seems so weird.
That's that flattery.
I don't want to be special. I don't want to be special. I don't want to be complimented. I don't want to be celebrated.
You want to be put on a pedestal? That's a good one. Like, you'd be taller than everybody?
I don't want to be put on a pedestal. You live your life, I live mine. I don't want your anythings. And I don't want video games made about me. I don't want anything.
What if someone made a diss track about you?
That would be, you can make a diss track about me. I'll
look
answer
at that.
it.
Oh, we got to
If you make a diss track about me, I'll answer it, but it won't be nice.
We gotta get Kendrick Lamar to make one.
It also won't be in the form of a diss track or anything like that.
It'll be a country song. Oh, okay.
It won't be
spoken word country song.
Words.
Okay.
No, not that either.
You're gonna Taylor Swift it up?
No, I'm not gonna do that. I have a few things from some events I did way back when where, people did a little bit of art of the group of streamers that did the event. And, I'm on there. I kind of like things like that. But, like, I don't want things that are just focused on. Or if you make a meme, like I have that, again, from a long time ago. I feel like viewers are not the same as they used to be. But I have from a long time ago somebody very quickly, clipped my face on a Kirby's body. Just as a meme. It wasn't flattery. I can't even remember the context of it. But, things like that I think are fun. But, straight flattery,
or the banners. Remember the banners? Back when Twitch allowed you to have banners?
Yeah, but you did those, so that wasn't
That's flattery. Yes, it was.
Those were just,
I always picked your good side. I always picked your good side.
Yeah.
I would never try to demean you with my banners.
Those are Raji banners.
Oh, remember the Final Fantasy 13 ones? Come on. Look at all the different faces.
Everybody loved that one.
Yeah.
Everybody loved that one.
It's a classic. Even put you on a black character. Nothing wrong with that. This was the old days. You could do that.
Yeah, this is when it was acceptable to put a white guy on a black guy. Yeah. But yeah, those were the good days.
The scary thing now is, like, You could take the cutscenes of Final Fantasy 13 and you could use a deep fake to put your face over top of all of them and actually have it be run in like real time.
That's actually true. You can do a lot more now with the with that kind of premise.
You could
Yeah.
mod the game so you play the entire game with your face.
That'd be an easy way to do things. Train an AI Laura on your face and then just put them into different video game scenes.
Every game becomes a way to it's a vanity project then, right? You have your face on everything.
It's true. But that's what you need for like the YouTube videos and all that. Like you always see the YouTube thumbnails, which is
yeah, it's true.
I played Expedition 33 and I got expedited, and then it's just a picture of I don't know what that means, but then it's just a picture of the streamer going like, "What?"
Yeah, it's always open mouth and like gaping, and they got their hands on their cheeks, basically the Deadpool emote, but with the mask off.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. It's interesting that that's still the thing, because this at some point I don't know what year it happened, but yeah, YouTube thumbnails they all started becoming those clickbaity thumbnails. Because they weren't like that originally. People didn't do that. At some point, it just switched. And I wonder if it was gradual or if it was just like a snap of the fingers switch.
Well, it's just marketing.
They had to one-up each other.
Well, people hit on something that worked, so everybody else started doing it.
But I wonder what the psychology is behind it. Because have you seen some of Mr. Beast's thumbnails? Do you know how he makes those? They take the two parts of his face and they kind of like, those sliding block puzzles or those mini games in Mario games with the 3 layers and you gotta like match them up to get a mushroom or star. That's how they do his face for the thumbnails. It's not his full face at any given moment. That's why when he's smiling, it looks so fake because his eyes aren't actually smiling. They just took his eyes when he's in a resting position. You should look at some of his thumbnails. He doesn't look real in any of them. It all looks fake. It's very unnerving. It's uncanny. Because, normally he looks like a human. But in his thumbnails, he looks fake. But I wonder if that actually benefits him. I wonder if people click into it because it's like, I want to see this weird pseudo-human.
I don't know. I think it probably just has something to do with making things easily identified. Like if you just take a clip of a gameplay or something like that, it just
doesn't stand out.
It doesn't stand out. But if you put text on it or you put a giant face on it that you're not likely to see anywhere else, then it's easily identifiable. It's easy to see what it is, especially if it's a clickbait title, because people like exaggerated false news because it sounds better than real news.
Your next thumbnail should just be, "You won't believe how constipated I was today." And then there you go.
There you go. And it'll be about Assassin's Creed. Yeah. Yeah. I've thought about doing little, right? Because on YouTube they say like, oh, add a thumbnail to your live or whatever. So I thought about making, a very quick thumbnail for
before you go, you mean before you start?
For my lives. Yeah.
Ah, okay. Oh yeah, because it's when the live is up, it has its own thumbnail, right? It's not just a clip from the current stream. Okay.
Well, it is if you don't set a thumbnail.
if you don't set it. You're right, absolutely. But you can actually set a thumbnail.
I think they've said it does better if you do set a thumbnail. Again, probably for the same reason videos do, but then that's extra work and I don't like to do extra work. So
you should just it's too late now, I guess, for Clear Obscure, but really what you should have done is you should have gotten a beret and a fake mustache and one of those striped shirts and a baguette.
Ooh,
you could hold a baguette or like
and a baguette.
Or put it in a suspicious position, and that would have been your thumbnail.
I would never have thought of doing that before the game came out, because I didn't even know that was the thing in the game until...
Yeah, but you were playing it for long enough that you could have done it midway, right?
Yeah, you're right.
But it's too late now, because I think you probably beat it, right?
I haven't beat it yet, but I'm getting there. Well, actually, by the time this episode comes out, it will definitely be beat.
Well, there you go. We see the future.
Yeah, so I don't even remember how we got on this, but...
Micronesia. We were talking about Micronesia. Thank you, Micronesia, for .fm. I have no idea, but I'll take it.
There you go. So let's talk about an interesting fact. Here's my interesting fact for today.
Mm-hmm.
Similar to the thing about the, TVs and the shark meat before that. From 1264 to 1827, anyone who received a master's degree from Oxford University had to swear that they would never forgive a man named Henry Simeonis. So he always had to swear that he would never forgive them. By 1608, no one knew who he was or what he had done. And it wasn't until 1912, but they still kept saying, I think, for another 100 years after that, long after he had been forgotten. And it wasn't until 1912 that somebody found out who he was.
And what'd he do?
So Henry Simeonis killed a student.
Okay. On purpose.
Yes. And the king at the time pardoned him.
This was the days of kings still.
Yeah. The king at the time gave him a royal pardon, which angered everybody. And he forced the university to keep them there to allow him to stay and get his degree.
So he was another student, or was he this Henry Simeonis?
Henry Simeonis.
When he killed the student, was he a student himself, or was he a teacher?
I'm trying to find a very concise thing. I had one and then I lost it. He was a student.
Oh, he was a student.
Well, I had it, but then I forgot.
Maybe this is the plot to make him be forgotten again, so people don't remember why they needed to not forgive him.
Okay, so it doesn't say if he was a student or not. It does say he was a reeve of Oxford. A reeve is an administrative official.
A reeve. That's interesting. What a word.
It doesn't help that his dad's name was also Henry, so it's hard to tell which Henry they're talking about here. Simeon's son Henry was one of the richest men in 13th century Oxford. Henry, son of Henry, and grandson of Simeon. He was rich and owned multiple properties in the city. He was among the men who, on May 22nd, 1242, were fined £80 and ordered to leave Oxford by King Henry III for murdering an Oxford scholar. They were allowed to stay in Northampton or further north, but not to approach Oxford until the king had returned. He returned later that year, did some business with the king. The king suspended the operation of the university. I don't know if this is all in relation to this, but this is the series of events that happened. The king suspended the university, declared Henry Simeonis had been forgiven, and allowed him to live in Oxford as long as he showed good behavior. Like I said, a lot of people forgot about this, so records weren't very tight. So this scholar says, who's this guy? Reginald Lane Poole. This historian says that, see, the Wikipedia page makes it sound like the Oxford scholars left Oxford prior to the pardon. This historian said the Oxford scholars left Oxford in protest of the pardon. But another records manager said that it was unrelated. The long and short of it is, because he murdered this guy from Oxford, because he murdered this scholar from Oxford, it doesn't say who the scholar is, Oxford held a grudge against him.
As anybody would.
That's right. And so always made their students swear that they would never forgive him. And that was until 1827, over 200 years
and only
after
for master's
people had even
degrees.
forgotten. It says Bachelors of Arts. No.
Because you said masters at the beginning.
Okay, this one says Bachelors of Arts who sought to become Masters of Arts.
But if you didn't want to become a master's student, you could just forgive him and be done with it.
I guess it was just a condition to get into the master's.
Okay.
Master's
And then
programs.
probably for that, you needed to do that to get into the PhD. So they covered their bases.
Statutes did not explain who he was or what he had done. And the only thing in 1608, referencing the 1608 date, was some archivist wrote that he was a regent of arts who falsely claimed to be a BA in order to enroll in a foreign monastery. So completely wrong of what it actually was. So by 1608, nobody had known who this guy was. And in the 17th century, they tried to remove the oath. Again, this was after people had forgotten. They tried to remove the oath, but it was proposed and rejected at the university for no mentioned reasons. So they didn't even, so even the scholars were like, no, we're going to keep this in. We're just going to keep spiting this guy, even though we don't know what he did. We have the option to remove this, but we're not going to. And it had just been replaced with legends and myths by that point. But it was finally abolished in February 1827. Nobody knew exactly what they were abolishing. And then in 1912, they were finally able to track down who he was.
I wonder why it was abolished, though. What caused that to take place? The abolishment of it? Was it just somebody thought, let's look into this, and maybe we shouldn't do this anymore?
That's probably all it was.
Yeah, maybe.
Like, why are you going to spite somebody for, what was it at the time? 600 years?
People hold grudges, right?
When you don't even know. This is like original sin stuff.
Well, it's funny how like there's plenty of stories like that where there's some sort of animosity between two factions or multiple factions, but they don't remember why there's that animosity. So like there's fighting, but they don't know what they're fighting about because it's been so long. The reason has been lost to time.
But this is like a big universe against one guy.
Yeah, I get it. I get it.
I think after 600 years and half of that being unknown history, it's time to let it go. Sometimes you can hold a grudge, but you should know why you're holding a grudge. If you're going to hold a grudge against somebody, you need to be pretty acutely aware of why that is, especially if you're one of the most prestigious academic institutions in the world. Shout out to Henry Simeonis' fan. If you ever find out you're a descendant of Henry Simeonis, remember, we hate you.
Oh, you shouldn't say that. It's not the children's fault that their great 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 grandfather did something bad.
Yeah, but I just told you, original sin. You carry the
Nah.
you carry
I
the
don't like
misdeeds of
that.
your ancestors.
Nah, we don't like that.
Well, there's millions of people who believe in that kind of stuff. So
It's terrible.
billions, in fact, probably. I don't know how big the Catholic Church is these days, but
Oh, the Catholic Church believes in that? Okay.
well, original sin is
It's a game.
you killed Jesus. Well, no, it's you killed Jesus. He died on the cross for you. So now you carry original sin from the time you're born.
I didn't kill Jesus, though. I was rooting for Jesus when he was hanging
I know,
on the
but
crucifix.
Well, I get it, but
I'd be like, come on, Jesus, use your magic powers. Get out of there. Don't let
sorry, it
these
went even
Romans
further
beat
back.
you down.
It's the condition of sinfulness all humans share. I wasn't sure if it was from the cross or from Adam and Eve. It's from Adam and Eve. The sinfulness all humans share, inherited from Adam and Eve.
What did Adam do? I thought it was just Eve.
Well, Adam got it too. There's nothing in the Bible that said Adam lived happily ever after in the garden. No, they were both booted out.
That's so sad. I'm so sorry for Adam for him having to suffer Eve's transgressions of getting an apple and eating it. Isn't it sad?
Oh, the man also ate some of the apple. That's why.
Oh, really? What a pig. Death to Adam.
Yep. So because of that, we all have original sin. So we're literally carrying the sin.
Wait, so does that mean I'm a descendant of Adam and Eve?
Everybody is a descendant of Adam and Eve.
Isn't
They're the
that
first humans.
fascinating? Come on, isn't that fascinating?
We are all in some very distant way, even scientifically, really.
Uh-huh. Well, it's true scientifically as well.
We are all cousins.
I forget which generation it is, but if you go back, I think not even too far back, we are all descendants of that generation.
Yeah, it's something like, it's a very small number. It's only something like 15 or 20 generations or something like that. The majority of people can be related to a very small group of people.
It's great, isn't it? We're all family.
We are all family in a way.
Aren't you happy? You're in the same family as me.
Yep. That's a thought. I prefer to look at it like I'm in the same family as Sabrina Carpenter.
Oh yeah. I mean, who wouldn't want to be in a family with her?
There you go. Yeah.
Sabrina Carpenter, the shining beacon of our generation. Not of our generation, of the generation of young kids nowadays. We're a couple generations back. But we're rooting for you, Sabrina Carpenter. Don't let those Romans beat you down.
Yeah, we got your back, cuz. On that note,
Speaking of Carpenter.
let's talk about John Carpenter's Big Trouble in Little Chinatown. Is that what it's called?
No, it's just Big Trouble in Little China. You don't need the town.
But it wasn't in China. It was in Chinatown.
Well, that's why. Well, Little China is the slang for the Chinatown, or they do that with Little Italy, right? But people don't really say it. They say Chinatown, but Little China's equivalent.
So, it was a movie.
Oh, yeah. But you know what? Let me start by saying no 80s movie montage. That's a strike against it right away.
Actually, it's true. There was no montage.
Yeah, I was disappointed. I kept hoping because, by the end, it rolls around the end and they're supposed to gear up and suit up. All they did was they had a shot of something. That's it. That was their gearing up, suiting up.
This movie may have been one of the worst movies I've ever seen.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't like it that much, but it was, I could, I don't feel sorry for having watched it. Why did you think it was the worst movie you've ever seen? Worse than Ernest Goes to Summer Camp?
It was definitely worse than Ernest.
Wow. Okay. Come on, do tell.
Because I at least recognized that Ernest was a kid's movie.
This was also a kid's movie.
This was not a kid's. There's no way this was a kid's movie.
It felt like a kid's movie to me. And then I checked; it was supposed to be a comedy as well. I'm like, okay. Because at first I was like, what the hell is this? Why is it so campy and funny? Like they make these stupid jokes every few sentences.
Yeah, it's true. Kurt Russell had to throw in every wisecrack that he could, no matter what the situation was.
You know what my favorite part is in light of that? At the end, just as they're about to engage the enemy, he shoots the ceiling as a sort of, bravado. The ceiling breaks, the debris falls on his head, he gets knocked out for a couple of minutes. I thought that, man, if he stayed down the whole time and he only came back when they were done fighting, that would make this the top movie. That would absolutely make it the top movie. Who else would have the balls to pull that off? The main character, the protagonist, the one who's supposed to be able to save everybody, is knocked out for the entire final fight.
To be fair, it was very largely the movie where the protagonist didn't do anything anyways.
Yeah, it's true. He was kind of useless. Although he did kill the main bad guy. Right? He caught the knife.
It was the stupidest thing I've ever seen.
That was beautiful.
That was the stupidest ending. They built up to this big thing. They gave him like this friggin' drug or something like that, which they never even really capitalized on. And then he walks into the villain's room and he throws a knife, misses it wildly. The bad guy throws it back at him. He catches it and immediately throws it in the bad guy's skull. This 1,000-year-old Chinese master just gets got from.
It's because he was human now, and he was complacent when he was ephemeral. He didn't have to practice or train, so he got rusty.
He dodged it no problem the first time.
Yeah,
the second time he's like,
Russell,
okay.
Kurt Russell was just rusty as well at that time. He was like, I need to get my aim right. That was hilarious, though. So many stupid moments in that movie.
The only reason I don't put it like right at the bottom, compared to what's that movie, Raji?
Abduction.
Compared to Abduction.
Now, Abduction is better than this. Come on, you have to hand it to it.
No, definitely not. Is that this movie at least knew it was making fun. Knew it was being bad.
Okay. Well, no, Abduction I think knew deep down.
No, there's no.
I think the actors
deep
knew.
Down, but they probably did. But
you could see it in their eyes. There's a twinkle.
Yeah, but it wasn't right from the outset like this movie was. But this movie was very campy. Campy's the perfect word for it. It's very exaggerated, very racist.
Well, not for those days.
Well, yeah, not for those days.
Pretty tame for those days. But it's true. Every Chinese person knows kung fu. That's what I learned from this movie.
Yeah, a big freaking gang war of a bunch of people come out in the karate stuff with the headband. Like they were fully decked out in the most stereotypical Chinese stuff you could imagine.
But as well with Tommy guns. That was the funniest thing.
Right, with Tommy guns, yeah. And then the Raidens coming down from the sky, the knockoff Raidens.
Which, by the way, no, you say knockoff. I read this. Apparently, the lightning sorcerer character, the guy, the hat-wearing monk that's controlling lightning throughout the movie, he was an inspiration for Raiden in Mortal Kombat.
Oh, I believe that. I think Mortal Kombat probably came out well after this movie.
Yeah, so you say knockoff, but there you go. And then let me also add that Lo Pan, which is the main bad guy, the one who became ephemeral and then became human again, he's the inspiration for Shang Tsung in Mortal Kombat.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But he was also a stereotypical old evil Chinese villain with the long pinky nail.
The two on either hand, yeah.
Was it both? Well, I saw the pinky that was long.
Nah, he had it on both. Yeah.
I mean, all his fingers were long, but the pinky were really long.
Yeah. It's so uncomfortable when you do that. I don't know how people have long fingernails. We can talk about that some other time.
Yeah, and the girl overacted so much.
Oh, I think the acting was terrible all around. I don't know about you, but I thought it was.
But the girl,
awful.
the Gracie Law, she was. Oh yeah, it absolutely was awful. But hers was so over the top. I couldn't figure out whether or not it was on purpose.
I think it was on purpose.
Kurt Russell was definitely on purpose.
Well, so is she.
Because I've seen Kurt Russell in other stuff, and he didn't really act like that. Like, I'm just thinking, like, I never looked it up, but I wanted to know when The Thing was made versus this. 4 years before. Yeah, so, like, his acting in The Thing was pretty good. That's mostly what I remember him from. The fact that every mainish character had to have a love interest at the end for absolutely no reason.
Wasn't it heartwarming, though?
It was literally everybody. Like, even Gracie Law's
the journalist friend, right?
Reporter. Yeah, the journalist friend just all of a sudden was making out with one of the other Chinese guys.
It's great.
And I'm like, where did this even come from?
I mean, to be fair,
they just had to pair everybody up.
Kurt Russell didn't have a love interest in the end. He left. He didn't even kiss her goodbye.
He did, but she was a love interest, though.
Well, sure, yeah.
And then Wang Chi got with Miao Yin.
Well, yeah, that was to be expected, though.
which was just like, but I get okay. That one was to be expected. That's true.
She was a mail order
that's true.
bride, though. That's
Oh, she
that's
was
how
his
it all
fiance.
started.
Yeah. She was his fiance.
But she was a mail order fiance. That was the funniest thing about it at the beginning, right? Like he starts by saying, you know, oh oh no, he knew her for 5 years or whatever, or he knew her since childhood, hadn't seen her, so she became a mail order bride, I guess. But I just found it funny that because he was such a dick at the beginning, like, oh, I lost all this money, and like I need that money. Like, why do you need that money? They never explain why he needed that money so much. And then he gives him 3 times the money back anyway at the end. That makes no sense to me. And then also the girl that Gracie Law was meeting at the airport, apparently she was supposed to be the one that gets captured, but, you know, Kurt Russell stops them from taking her. What's her deal? Why was Gracie meeting her there? Like, what's going on here?
Well, it was just wild how everything built up. First of all, the opening scene made no sense and had no relevance to any part of the plot at all.
You mean at the airport?
No, the part where the detective was talking to who I don't even know who it was.
Oh,
and they're
no,
like,
no.
"Oh, where's Jack Burton?" And then they're like, "Oh, do you
That's
believe
not
in
the
magic?"
detective. No, it's a lawyer. It's a lawyer. It's just because that guy was probably I don't know. He was getting sued or something.
Well, whatever. It had no relevance to anything.
No, you're right. They never wrapped it up.
Burton?
You're right.
And so I was thinking like the end was going to be like Jack Burton. Like I'm trying to think like he's going to get buried under, you know, leave himself behind to get buried under the rubble or something. But no, he just took off in his truck. Not exactly the hardest to find a truck driver's truck.
That's true.
So maybe in the 80s it was, but
this was,
you know, not the
cowboy
hardest. So I'm like, what is this scene? What is this scene anyways? But then you're right about Gracie Law. Like, who's Gracie Law? Because the one time they're sitting in the restaurant, right? Just at the beginning, like after the first big fight, sitting in the restaurant talking about how they're going to go get her, and she just walks in,
and they
like
know each other,
like she's part of the family.
Yeah, but that's the thing. That's why I was confused. Why didn't they like interact more at the airport if they didn't know each other like as comfortably as they do later?
And then they did it exactly the same with the reporter. Like she just shows up and everybody's like, yeah, okay.
No, because remember when they're waiting outside the brothel and Gracie says to them, "Hold on, I know that car." And then she goes and sits with the reporter. I don't know how she introduces the reporter to them. But yeah, they're all lovey-dovey really quickly. I guess back in the 80s in San Francisco, that's how it was. You know, everybody was just, they meet each other once and they're like best friends, best family at that point. What a movie though. Come on. Campy, colorful, and stylish with terrible acting.
And then there were just some monsters in the middle because why not?
Yeah,
like the big freaking Yeti thing steals.
It's so stupid.
Gracie,
it was so bad. It was such a terrible.
And then it was at the back of the truck at the end of the movie.
I don't know, like,
and I'm like, please God, don't ever do a sequel to this movie.
They wanted to. They were really close to doing one actually, but it fell through. But John Carpenter is supposed to be good at this stuff, right? Why did that monster look so bad?
I don't know.
Like it was so like
well,
lazy.
Probably because again, it was just an 80s.
I don't know. That was my favorite. That was my least favorite part. It was that monster. It was so boring.
Same with the eyeball monster, though, too.
Well, the eyeball monster, you can forgive this. Like, okay, fine. It's his...
They shoot at it and it zooms off, and then all of a sudden it's just standing beside... I guess it was invisible or something.
Yeah, it's magical. It's just apply magic to it.
It was standing beside him, and he stabs it in the head. And I'm like, oh, my God.
Actually, my favorite and least favorite part during the fight was... So the 3 storms that they're called, right? The tough guys... So the first one went down like, okay, fine, it's admirable. He tricks him a little bit, throws the sword through him, and you know it all works out. The second guy, he literally explodes from the devastation of seeing Lopan dead in the corner. Just explodes, erupts.
Yeah, he does.
And then the last guy, the lightning one, the one that's supposed to be like, you know, oh, this guy's a badass. He can deal with anything. He can use the lightning as a rope to climb up and down. And he gets got by a Buddha statue falling from above.
Yep.
I was disappointed. They had to do that, I guess, because everybody else is weak. So they had to find other ways to deal with the big, strong baddies. But I don't know. The power levels, that's what really pissed me off the most, I think, about this movie. It's like they were just all over the place.
The whole movie was all over the place.
Yeah. I struggle to understand why it became a cult film, a cult classic. There's other movies that I understand. Like, I get it. I've seen them in the future where it's like, you know, maybe, yes, it was a critical failure at the time, but then I get why people like it in the future. But this one, having never seen it back in the old days, this is my first time watching. I don't know. I don't know why people think of this as a cult classic.
Yep, I have no idea. It was not a great movie.
I preferred Abduction, by the way. To your point, I actually like the campy flavor of Abduction a bit more. It's more modern. It has that taste of modern filmmaking without any of the
Abduction
silly
is definitely
monsters.
not campy.
Oh, it's campy.
I don't think that's.
There's a bomb in the oven.
No.
Come on, man. That's the best part in the movie.
No. I hate Abduction. I hate Abduction because it wasn't supposed to be that way. This movie was supposed to be that way, which is why I can forgive it. I could say I don't like it, it's not a good movie, and it objectively is not, but that was also very clearly the goal.
All right, fair enough. We'll agree
Abduction,
to disagree.
that was not the goal. That was not the goal with Abduction. So I take it for both of us. It's not. I don't think this movie's King of the Hill.
No, and I was really kind of gunning for it to be, because usually 80s movies, cult classics, that's right up my alley when it comes to these movies, like the best of the best for me. But no, it hooked me at the beginning, but then it's like it quickly fell off, and it never picked up to the point where it needed to be.
It never even, honestly, it never even hooked. Once they got to that fight in the street between the two factions, I was like, this movie's too long already.
The beginning, it kind of entices you, like, well, what happened to this guy? And then you see, like, oh, he has magic powers. And then very quickly, it like, oh, I see. It's not that good. So no, Pump Up the Volume is still King of the Hill.
Pump Up the Volume.
God forbid somebody topples Pump Up the Volume for me. It's not even in my top 20 probably, and it's still kicking ass.
Well, there you go. All right. And I also will stick with Ride Along. All right, it's movie generator time. Here we go. It's my turn. What do we got? Today we are going to be watching the movie, or this week we are going to be watching the movie Fanboys.
Fanboys, all right. It's about people who make fans?
The story follows, it's a comedy film following a group of Star Wars fans who head on a road trip to Skywalker Ranch to steal a rough cut. This is the exact plot of a Big Bang Theory episode.
What year is it?
2009.
Oh, God. It's like the worst decade for movies.
It's true, actually.
I'll probably still like it, though.
Steal a rough cut of Star Wars Episode 1 for their dying friend. It was mixed. Didn't make a lot of money. Jay Baruchel, Dan Fogler, Sam Huntington. I'm just trying to find a name that I recognize. Chris Marquette, Kristen Bell. Okay, well, at least I recognize Kristen Bell. David Denman. Oh, David Denman played Roy on The Office. Okay, so I know him. Oh, it's got Christopher McDonald in it. Christopher McDonald played the Happy Gilmore villain, Shooter McGavin. That's it. Oh, it's got Seth Rogen in it. All right. Oh, it's got Ethan Suplee in it, who played the stupid guy on My Name is Earl. And a bunch of cameos. Carrie Fisher, Jason Mewes, I don't know who he is. Kevin Smith, Danny McBride, Craig Robinson. I don't know why, but can't have a movie with David Denman in it without Craig Robinson in it. Joe Truglio from Brooklyn Nine-Nine, Will Forte, William Shatner. I don't think these producers know what Star Wars is.
Oh, that's the joke, probably.
But there you go. And not terrible reviews. Oh, 33%. That's not that great.
It'll be fine. It'll be passable, at least. And maybe it'll be my favorite movie. Who knows?
That's true, because you like friggin' Pump Up the Volume. But there you go, Fanboys. That's where we're at. It's going to be the 2000s equivalent of what we just watched.
No, it's nothing like that. Come on. This is probably based on a true story.
Well, it's probably based on a true story in the sense that, yeah, I absolutely imagine people have tried to break into the Skywalker Ranch to steal cuts of film. Like,
George
that's
Lucas
not
is
even
sick of this.
Yeah, like that. That's not even unplausible.
The Simpsons did a parody of that as well. But they broke in. Well, I remember Bart and Lisa broke in, but I don't know what they did, but I think they just talked to George Lucas, saying, like, how dare you do this? You made a god-awful movie.
They kind of did it in also South Park, where they tried to steal the cut of the fourth, not the newest Indiana Jones, but the one before, the Crystal Skull one. I think they tried to steal that one because it was so bad.
I believe that.
A lot of people have theft fantasies about George Lucas.
I know. I mean, just look at him. It makes you feel like, yeah, I want to steal from that guy.
It's true. So that's next on the docket. All right. What's your word of the fortnight?
I got 2 words this time. Both come from Genshin Impact. I'm learning a lot of new words from Genshin. So the first word is SWOT. SWOT. OT, not AT. And it's a noun, and it means one who works or studies excessively. And then the other word is riven. RIVEN. It's an adjective, and it's the name of the game, Riven, which that's why I was confused when they used that word. I was like, what? It's a word? I look it up, and it means split apart. Divided, split apart. There you go.
2 words of the fortnight.
Both from Genshin. Probably get 10 more just from playing for 5 hours or whatever. There's so many complicated words on there.
Yeah, they're not pulling any punches. They want you to learn. Genshin Impact is a learning game.
Here I'm trying to become illiterate so I can get on disability, but I can't.
Okay.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding, of course.
That was a random sentence. There we go. It's Pokemon time. It's Pokemon time. Do 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 do. We are judging the cries of the legendary Pokemon. Don't know who they are. Plus Scyther. Don't know who they are. We're just listening to their cries and voting on which one is the best. And we're getting pretty close to the end. We're on the 5th round now?
We are on, let me check. Yep, 5th round.
So we're getting down to it. The season's almost over. We only got 2 more episodes.
Correct. This one and then one more. That's it.
All right, here we go. Let's judge some Pokemon. We're on round 88. Between number 32 and 9, you can go to hot3.welcome.fm to see what the Pokemon are. We don't know, though. We'll reveal that sometime early next season. 32 and 9. Here we go. Here's 32.
This is the Zelda sound effect. It's
Yeah, the Zelda sound effect.
It has my heart.
It does it. All right. And 9.
But this is the laughing monkey in a metal box.
Yeah.
I don't know. This is a tough one because the Zelda.
We're getting down to it. We've kicked out all of the bad sounds. This is the top of the top at this point.
Yeah, it's either Zelda in the last half second or the monkey laughing in a box. I think I'm gonna have to go with the monkey laughing in a box because as much as I like the Zelda sound effect, I know it's not supposed to be there. I think it's just them listening to, like, them picking up sound from the Zelda studio.
That is true. That's not part of the... Yeah, exactly. Guys, I think we're picking up something from across the hall. That's just the Zelda guys.
Keep it. Go. Kids will love it.
That's right.
But yeah, I'm gonna go with the monkey, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think I like the sound effects. Like I said, the ones that are more... the cry, like that back end of the first one of the Zelda is not part of the cry.
I mean, it's the Zelda sound effect, let's be honest.
It's some after effect, whereas 9 is the cry. So I agree. I'm gonna stick with 9 also. So the monkey's going on. It's over. Zelda should never have made Breath of the Wild. That was your mistake. History would be different if not for that game, and that cry might have won it. All right, number 89, between 45 and 85. Here's 45.
All right, okay, so we're starting very high.
Yeah.
This is the person
and
going
85.
to the toilet. It's beautiful.
That's the toilet sound. And 85.
And this is the ghost that's traipsing along a gravel road.
Yeah, dragging.
I'm going with
road.
the toilet because usually toilets win out when it comes to me.
I agree. I like the sound.
It's beautiful. Like you this is something you could play at a wedding and it wouldn't be unopposed.
Just play that on loop for the entire reception.
Yeah, you could make a remix out of it, I think. Get people on the dance floor. They can do the toilet.
Now
That's
we're gonna do the father-daughter dance.
Yeah. And pump it up. And then like I said, the toilet dance. I think that could be like a squat, and you're kind of like shaking it out, wiping. Oh man, we can make a really good dance out of this. We got to think about it. Send it off to Fortnite for Epic to make something.
I hate this conversation. Yeah, send it to Fortnite. They put it in with their skibbity toilet backpack.
Oh yeah, come on, that would be amazing. Day one buy.
Yep, exactly. All right, last one for today is round 90, between 2 and 58. Here's 2.
Right, okay, the 80s or 90s cartoon movie start.
Yep, and 58.
Okay, no, I like that one. I like 58. I forget how we described it.
It just sounds like an offshoot of 9.
Yeah, it's like a slightly higher pitch. It's like a hyena laughing,
Yeah.
but in a metal
I'm going to
box.
listen to 2 again here. Well, I should judge them based on...
Oh, you
The
like
only reason I
2.
don't like... I do like 2. The only reason I don't like 58... Well, okay, what I'll say is... The only thing that's going through my head is that 58 is so similar to 9.
All right.
That's why I don't like 58. But I don't think I should judge it based on another sound. Well, not the one that I'm not comparing it to now.
Well, I guess, and not to mention, there's a good chance that it won't be the finalist, right? So,
right. Like I think in a vacuum I like 58 more than 2. So I think that's where
yeah,
I should go.
you should do that then.
Yeah. So we're gonna go with 58. The only reason I would have considered 2 is just for the variety's sake.
It's true, but we're past that point. I think. Yeah, we gotta get the cream of the crop at this point, even if maybe they're similar.
All right, 58 is taking it. Well, that's all for today. Next time we're going to be doing. We're going to get into our 6th round, right?
The semifinals.
That's the semifinals.
We got one more in round 5, and then the semifinals, and that'll be that episode. And then the first episode of the next season is where we first of all finish the tournament, and where we look and see who does each sound effect belong to, and go through it in detail. So if you don't like this tournament, you'll hate the first episode of the next season.
You're going to hate it.
We're going to love it, though. It's going to be hilarious.
It's going to be fun to listen to the sounds compared to the Pokemon. I'm going to enjoy that. But for today, guys, that's it. Have a good day. Listen hard, play hard.
Do the toilet dance.